The Golden Boot Pod is proud to announce that merchandise is now available. We have everything from t-shirts and hoodies, to hats and beanies, to drinkware, to wearables and blankets. You can find it all under the merchandise tab at thegoldenboot.podbean.com or go directly to thegoldenboot.com. As always, thank you for supporting the Golden Boot Pod.
The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Hey, there we go. Welcome to another edition of the Golden Boot Podcast. It's your boy Pough. I got my man Aunt Petty Murphy in the building. We got Chris Honeybun in the building. Daniel D. Williams in the building. And first off, I want to say good evening, everybody. How everybody doing on this fine Sunday evening?
What's happening, y'all? How y'all doing?
Man, I'm great. Unless you got another win, I'm good, baby.
Over there looking like a librarian.
Just look educated and smart.
Chris, you just gonna look at us? You ain't gonna speak? Stop being rude.
His mic muted. He don't know it.
He can be unmuted. He still ain't saying nothing. Chris. Oh, then you just gonna leave. Boy, I tell you, you know what?
He turned the lights off.
Yeah. Chris, can you hear us? I don't think he hears.
Nah, I don't think he can either.
Chris, if you can hear us, look hungry. I think he hears. All right.
Go ahead, Chris, you want a honey bun.
All right. Well, yeah, we go. Chris work out his technical difficulties. Want to say what's up, everybody in the chat, everybody back home, everybody that's watching. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. Shout out to Xavier. What's good? I think they look like the fake Facebook stars, maybe. I don't know. If we can get Facebook stars yet. I don't know. But what's good, Xavier? Jason Brumfield came in hot. I told y'all Wake Forest was gonna clip FSU. All right. Hey, anything's possible. What's up, Roderick? I said, what's up, fellas? Sloppy dub, but we fought it out. One thing I can say, this team is battle tested. I agree. That's why the name of the title of this episode is "It Was Good, Bad, and Ugly." Chris,
yo,
I hear. All right. Cool. You were being real rude earlier, but we'll say it was technical difficulties. What's good? Yeah. How you doing this evening?
I'm good, guys. How y'all doing, man?
All right, all good, all good. Brambo, what's good? He says, great defense yesterday. If Jaden can't run, should Nuts get all the reps with the ones? Ooh, good question.
Ooh,
no.
Coming in hot. I don't know. Hey, I might be with you, Rambo. I might be with you.
Okay. Let me ask you a question.
We're going to start it right now or we're going to wait?
I'm gonna ask this question. You can think about it. This will be a rhetorical question. All right.
Favorite one?
When they ran read option with Nuts, right? And Nuts can run. Nothing wrong with his legs, right?
They never ran read option with Nuts. He never pulled
Ooh, that's a lie.
That's the part.
He didn't
last game? This last game?
Yeah, the John Emery. The John Emery fumble was a read option. The run
because
he didn't pull it.
Hold on, just because he doesn't pull it, that doesn't mean it's not a read option.
Okay,
I think some bad read,
but he didn't run it.
That he should have pulled.
Chris, that's beside the point. Let me ask you. When I'm saying, you say it's not a read option because he didn't pull it, right? But that's my point. Did the defense just crash down on the running back?
Nope. They actually have a safety reading. They had a safety. Hold on. They had a safety reading him, and whenever he handed off, the safety ran to the running back.
Bro,
so,
when Nuss was in the
have somebody reading him. Yes.
So when the Nuss was in the game, they crashed down on the running back the entire time. They never felt threatened.
Go watch that.
Listen, they never crashed down or stayed home for Nuss. They crashed down because they didn't respect it.
That's
but
not true.
Again, okay, all right.
They did crash on them, though. He should have pulled the ball.
Once they got the ball, they crashed. Once the running back received the ball, they crashed. But he had somebody reading the quarterback.
Okay.
On the play, Emery fumbled. The safety was already crashed down. He was there. He met Emery in the hole. So how
you ain't got time to think about that read off. That's the point of it.
Anyway, so I went back and watched Thursday's episode to look at some of our predictions that we did.
Mm-hmm.
I gave 3 different predictions, and I started off with 27-17, and then I said 27-14 and 27-13, and you said 27-7 or 24-17. Then you said 35.
I thought I said 24-13.
I said it because that's what you said. Oh, that was gonna be.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
And then Daniel, you said 35-17. So I think we all kind of had the idea of what Auburn was going to do as far as points wise, but I think we all expected more from from our offense. What our offense is going to put up. Right. So let's go ahead and get to this initial reactions to the game.
You go ahead and go first, man.
Good teams find ways to win. I mean, it ain't always pretty. It ain't always what you expect. And I mean, even whenever you down 17-0, you know, this team found a way to, you know, they mentally tough enough to find a way to come back and win. So, I mean, I take it. It's an SEC win. Like those aren't easy to come by.
Hey,
no, especially not in that environment, bro.
Hey, Miss Kim, in the comments, how you doing? And it was good, bad, and ugly, but a win is a win. I agree.
Exactly, 100%.
Brody Dupree, what's good, Brody? Said that was a good old-fashioned LSU versus Auburn football game we all love. I agree to a certain extent. I think we all a little spoiled because
it's a guy that put something about the defense in there. See if you can see it.
Yeah, we gonna get the you talking about the because Brambo said great defense and then he said defense and running game won the game.
No, it was about the 3 points we only gave up in the last 3 games.
Roger comment.
Oh, okay. I ain't got down. I see. John Emery fumble. That's the play we were talking about with the crash down. Auburn knew he wasn't going to pull it.
Exactly.
I'm here with Adam B with being messy. I'm here. Hold on.
Watching this play right now. Watching this play right now. He had a safety looking at him, bro, and it wasn't a safety that hit him in the backfield.
Okay. Adam says I'm here with my popcorn ready for fireworks. And then Roger says, man, our defense is so stingy. It's like they don't want nobody to score. Do we realize that in the second half, in the last 3 games, we've only given up 3 points? Fact check me if I'm wrong. You're absolutely right, Roger. I actually said it last night. I said I don't think we've given up any points in the second half, and then somebody corrected me and said, no, we gave up 3 against Mississippi State, and that is it. So you're absolutely right. Brambo.
We gonna read all the comments because I'm ready to go.
Well, so I do want to acknowledge them because they're the reason why we're here.
And they always here too. So
yeah, and so we always once we get going, I already know a lot of these comments gonna get missed. So
I'm ready. Hey, Adam said he brought his popcorn. I got mine.
We already read that comment, Dan.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Hey, do me a favor, tuck your forehead in and buckle up. We get ready. We'll get to you in a second. Defense and the running game won the game. Agree. And then we're gonna go ahead and let Daniel go to his initial reaction. So go ahead, Daniel.
All right. So shout out to Matt House. I'm gonna be honest with you because he drew up an excellent game. Besides the guys not reading their keys whenever the quarterback, or who knows? I mean, maybe Matt House told them that, if you see the guy trying to scramble, because honestly, last week he didn't show anything as far as when it comes to throwing the ball. You know, he wasn't that accurate. So kid played an excellent game. But Matt House, I mean, once he made those adjustments, he shut him out. And the defense all year has shown that, dude, at the halftime, they tighten up. So kudos to the defense. Kudos to the special teams because every week they're improving. The punter, I don't know his name. I got to get his name. I forgot it. But that kid is a weapon.
Bramblett.
Yeah, he's definitely a weapon for us whenever. I mean,
position. Them punts. Have you seen the punts?
Chris, he punted and put them on the 1 yard line.
You tripping?
And they went 99 yards too.
Unfortunately, but yeah, he did his job. He literally flipped the field the entire game.
Right.
Knuckleballs he kicked.
Hey, can I finish, Chris? You can go. All right, thank you. But initial reactions whenever it comes to the offense, I'm glad we got the win. Don't get me wrong. So glad we got a W at Auburn. And we know that this Auburn team, as far as talent-wise, coaching-wise, we got the better coaching staff. We got the better athletes at some positions. I think the only position where they may have us beat is at running back as far as talent-wise. Besides that, you're playing Auburn. But the offense, man, it just watching the game twice, it just doesn't look like they know what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? It looks like that there's no rhythm. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, honestly, whenever Nuss came in, and I know y'all not going to want to hear this, but he was getting rid of the ball really quick. Jaden, those first two series, those first sacks he got on the first series, he didn't even have to get that sack. He could have got rid of the ball timely. That would have never been a sack. The second series, also, the offensive line was blocking very well. He got sacked again, and that was on him. He could have dumped it off to Neighbors, and he would have got 5 or 6 yards. So I think a lot of our offense, honestly, sometimes it has to do with the timing. Get rid of the ball.
Well, Neighbors have caught the ball.
Get rid of the ball.
That's a bad for say.
What's up, Tony? Tony say, what's good, fam? The team has grit, and Daniel is full of poop.
Hey, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. But I'm just saying what I observed.
Adam B said he got the bomb pops ready. Brambo. Let me do this. Xavier Canfield say Chris for president.
That's my dog.
Zay voted for Kanye, just so y'all know.
Gotcha. Chris is never mind. And then Brambo say hats off the house for adjustments yesterday and was the most impressive defense performance in my opinion. They're going to give Tennessee problems. I agree with that. Chris, you want to do your initial reaction?
I was very pleased with I'm pleased with the defense. They playing like the old defense. But the offense, I ain't very pleased with it. They're gonna have to get something going in the passing game. They're gonna have to get some receiver screens. I want to see a deep ball. I want to see more than one deep ball in the game. You got the receivers that can catch those and run past people. We need to get the ball down. So you can see Brian Kelly, arguing at the quarterback. He yelled at both of them yesterday. Get the ball downfield. Push it downfield. Let's see if them guys can get a 50-50 ball or something. We know they can. We don't see it already. We just, I need Jaden to slide more because I think we need him in the game because he gives us extra element with his legs. And I think they can win us a couple more games than would be with Nuss at quarterback.
Brambo says 8 for 20, 80 yards, 16 rushing, 50 yards. I think it was actually 59. I hate when Nuss got in, the wide receivers were dropping passes.
Did you hate it when the wide receivers were dropping passes when Jaden Daniels was in the game?
Yeah, because they dropped passes.
Because if you have 5 or 6 more completions that should have been completions that were actually dropped, you're looking at somebody who's 14 or 15 or 20. For probably 140 yards or somewhere around in there. That's a totally different stat line if you look at it that way. So if you're going to say you hate whenever that they would drop passes for Nuss, you got to say the same thing for Jaden, right? Because they was dropping passes for both quarterbacks.
But the thing about Nuss was actually putting the ball on the money.
And so was Jaden Daniels. Hold on, bro. I let you have your talk. Let me have my talk. Jaden Daniels put the money for Mason Taylor. How many times did he drop it?
Oh, he dropped it plenty of times.
How many times they was on the money, right?
A couple, yeah.
Okay, the one to John Emery on second down, there would have been a first down on second and 4.
Drop.
That was a drop, right? So you could say that Nuss put it on the money, but so did Jaden Daniels. Not every time did Jaden Daniels put it on the money. Sure, I give you that. But there was plenty of times where he put it on the money and the wide receiver or whoever didn't catch the ball. So you could say that Nuss put it on the money, but so did Jaden Daniels. It went both ways. The same thing happened to both quarterbacks.
I didn't see enough from Nuss last night to even.
You've seen enough.
He had 4 drives last night.
He had 3.5.
3
The third drive, they fumbled on the second play. Yeah, I mean, you don't count that.
That's still a little drive.
I mean, I get it, but I mean, he didn't do nothing. He didn't get a chance to do anything.
It's a drive.
Daniel.
And you can argue that they fumbled because he didn't read the ball.
I'm
He had
not
4
down
drives and they didn't do nothing with it. You can
I
say
gotta-
you didn't see enough of them, but that's because you're choosing that you need your sample size to be this big or whatever the case may be. He had the entire fourth quarter last night. You saw him against Southern. You saw him.
That's Brownbow. Quit lying to yourself. It hit him in the hands. It was literally he's standing right there and he hit him in the hands.
It might have been
It
too
went
hot,
to
but
the
it
side.
wasn't behind him.
It might.
it wasn't.
You got to catch that pass, bro. You have to.
You have to.
I ain't gonna cap on that.
That's so this all right. So I looked this up because last night we know the stat line 8 of 20, 80. Well, it was actually 85 yards, but 5 were taken away for a sack. So 80 yards and no picks, 16 carries, 59 yards, something like that. On the season. Now, because I can't wait for the adjusted completion percentage and stuff to come out for this game, because that's going to change and look a lot different. But for on the season, Jaden is 81 of 111, 835 yards, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 44 carries, 262 yards. And I threw this in here because I saw somebody else say, hey, I wish he would spread the ball out more to wide receivers. Well, on the season, at least 12 different players have caught a pass from Jaden. And in every game except for last night, I believe, you had at least 9 receivers catch a pass and were targeted at least 2 times. So he doesn't look at everybody or he's not. Trust me, I get it. And then I will give you credit on this. There was something you said that does bother me. I don't know if this is a Jaden problem, a Denbrock problem, or what. But Besh and Jeray Jenkins not getting more targets or not being in the game more, I completely agree on.
Yep.
Completely agree on. But again, I'm not sure if what the reason behind that was, but I can't sit here and put all the blame on Jaden. Jaden does have some responsibility for some of the stuff last night as far as the passing. I can't put that all on Jaden though.
And I agree. I agree with you, Daniel, that there was more quick passes when Nuss was in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But part of me is that the play calling that's changed? Are they running simpler routes? You know what I mean, to get the ball out quicker for Nuss? Because they feel like he can't escape and use his legs like Jaden can if the pocket breaks down while they're waiting on these routes to develop? Or is it just that Nuss is being more decisive and knows exactly where he wants to go with the football? Like there's different ways that you can look at it, and we don't know the play call, so we don't know what's the real answer.
I'll tell you this. On some of those plays, especially in the first 2 series, it did look like a lot of those routes were quick routes. There was timing routes. So and Jaden held the ball a little bit long. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest with you. Like,
I mean, he missed some throws. I'm not denying that.
Right, and I'll tell you like this: we know that Jaden can pass the ball. We know that he can be accurate. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, use it, bro. Throw it, let it go. I think he plays too scared. That's all I'm saying.
That's all he need to do.
Let me ask you this. And I know we done said it before, but you can't think when you're playing. But you know your subconscious is your subconscious. All he heard about was how he threw 10 interceptions and 10 touchdowns last season. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he hasn't turned the ball over yet. I kind of wish that he would already have thrown his first interception so he would go and get it out the way and he won't be, you know what I mean, kind of worried about turning it over for the first time. Just go and let it rip, bro. But I think part of it is that he wants to make sure he takes care of the ball. So he's a little more hesitant to let it rip in some of those situations.
What's Jaden's touchdown? How many touchdowns he threw this year, Pough?
6.
6.
Six. He's thrown 6, run for 2 or 3. I think it's 2. Run for 2.
He had one versus
one versus New Mexico and then one last night.
Yeah.
One against Southern.
Yeah, he ran for one. I was about to say he ran for one. Versus
So
Southern,
okay, so 3. So
he ain't run one for Florida State.
Look,
yeah,
so
you had Noah, Jaray, and dang, who did score the other one?
what are you talking about last night?
No, Florida State. I don't know.
I can't remember.
But this is Penn Morris said this, and I think a lot of people feel like this. That Jaden D gets no love when he carries the offense, but he receives more criticism than he deserves when the offense struggles. And it's like we treat Jaden, or I ain't gonna even just say Jaden, because this is not just a Jaden thing. This is quarterbacks, period. Because we see the same for Chris. You're very critical of Jameis Winston. We say the same. It's the same by James. When the offense looks good, we don't say much about him. But you know what I'm saying, when he struggles, he does, or when the offense struggles, we get a lot of criticism. And we'll get to the Saints later, because the game I saw today, they look better later in the game, but it's the same situation. And
we'll get there. We'll get
there. So
I know you just said that people are a little bit overly critical of Jaden. I do believe that, and I do know a lot of our fan base would like to see Nuts start for different reasons, and it's not just because some people think he's better. So I'm not even going to act like that's not even a thing. But I will say, a lot of us, in my opinion, I'm speaking for myself, I did the same thing with Danny Edlin. You know what I'm saying? I did the same thing whenever Miles Brennan played, as far as holding the ball too long, not being quick with the trigger. I had the same opinion. You know what I'm saying? The thing that I liked about, and of course, I know everybody kind of compares our quarterbacks to Joe Burrow. It ain't happening again. You know what I'm saying? Once in a generation.
At least not right now.
Right, exactly. So, but I do like the fact of how he did make the decision. You know what I'm saying? Whenever it was a quick read, boom, he got it out of his hands. That's all I want. You know what I'm saying? Get the ball to the guys, let them go, and let's see what they can do. But also, they got to catch the damn ball too.
Actually, this is a good point by Pressure, and Miss Nikki kind of back, and she's right. Pressure says, "What transfer QB is doing well in their first year in a new system?" And Miss Nikki, shout out Miss Nikki, says Lamar. Pressure says Caleb Williams, but he went with his coach. Technically, he ain't in a new system, but that's actually a really good. What's it called? And there you go, Michael Phoenix. Which one? Michael
he went to Washington from Indiana.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
The ball.
That's not his first year though. This is a second year though.
No,
right?
this is his first year though. But
okay.
he back with a coach. He had that coach in the past before. Like so did Dylan Gabriel at Oklahoma. He was with Jeff Lebby. Kansas Adrian Martinez. Yeah, he been pretty good.
Yeah, he's solid. He's solid. He's having a great.
Once he got out of Nebraska.
I don't know if this is the first year though. Kansas. No. He been there. This is second year, second or third year. Jalen Daniels at Kansas.
Yeah, I don't
know.
Transfer.
He's a transfer. He's a transfer from
Arizona last night.
To my Emory Jones. That's the dude who came from Florida. This is his first year there. He was at Florida last year.
Okay, yeah, he balled last night, man. He did.
Yeah, he looked pretty good.
Yep.
He ain't been all that great. Jackson Dart ain't been all that great.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question too. Do you think that the receivers are regressing?
Hey, Shannon. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do you think that the wide receivers are regressing?
I don't think they're being used correctly.
So when I pulled the stats for Jaden, the reason I pulled the stats, and I didn't include last night's game, one thing I want to see or want to point out, and I've asked, and I hope people think about, is this a one game thing or is this a trend? Because this, you know what I'm saying, I'm be honest, I really do think it's a one game thing. We played Auburn in Auburn, never an easy game, never. So
look,
I think they're not being used right, bro.
Right.
I think it's a lot of it is that the scheme, the way defenses are scheming us because of the way we use them. like I'm not trying to, hate on Mason Taylor, but if that's Jack Best in that role,
he catches it.
Not just that he catches it, but he gets yak. And so the defense is they're gonna not put a linebacker on him, they're gonna put a safety on him, but then you can't have two safeties, Brackett and Kayshawn, so you gotta roll that other safety back. You know what I'm saying? And then that opens up things on the other side for Malik. So it's just like the way we using our guys and the personnel groupings that they're using, I think is making our wide receivers not be used to their fullest potential.
So, and let me say this, Mason Taylor, what y'all think Mason Taylor's what, 6'4", 6'5"?
Mason Taylor ain't easy to bring down. He just got to catch the ball.
No, but that's the thing though, bro. He doesn't catch the ball all the time.
Like that, and my thing is he's not the best blocker right now. You know
Bingo.
what I'm saying?
Bingo.
You can literally put Besh in the game. He's gonna be able to catch the ball. If anything, he can just chip somebody. You know what I'm saying? Just get in that way. And he is chippy. He's not soft.
And then my thing is Mason Taylor is good with the football after he catches it, but he ain't Jack Best, bro.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like we seen Jack Best return punt for a touchdown with the ball in his hand. Like that's how good of a guy he is in the field, with the ball. So if you put him in that role,
put Jack Best on the field, man.
Why? What's the reason?
Injury is the only thing. Injury is the only reason I can think of, but that's going to be.
But if he healthy enough to return punts,
that's what I'm saying. Now,
the reason why he's not going in now, that's baffling. But Jordan Haddad, and I think I said that right.
Haddad.
I'm gonna say Haddad.
It's Haddad, bro.
You know that? Okay, Haddad. Okay.
Haddad.
All right, so Jordan says regressing back because of lack of reps and chemistry. I can see that.
That's partly of it. That's part of it too.
Okay.
But that's another thing. Like we rotate them in so much that you know what I mean. That it's you get one catch, you out the game. Another guy come in. Like you can't get into a rhythm.
No rhythm. Yeah. Hey, but then
what happened to you?
Right. Hey, but then look at this. Whenever DeRay was in,
turn yourself. Yeah. You leaning sideways.
You just threw me all the way off with that one.
My head hurt.
Chris,
you can't hear us? Honey buns.
Okay.
Hey, look, doesn't it seem like Jaden and Jeray do have a connection?
Yeah,
I think he trusts Jeray. I think that's the big part of it. Jeray is one of the only receivers this year. Probably the only receiver that I can't remember dropping a pass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like
he's made those game clinching catches.
Exactly.
Bro.
That's what I'm saying.
I keep telling y'all
that touchdown pass at Florida State, I think that brought a whole bunch of trust, you know what I'm saying, in Jeray for Jaden. He knows that he can throw it to Jeray and he gonna make the play.
What's up, Rob?
I feel like that for anybody else on this team right now.
Appreciate the love, Rob, and thank you for the support, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I go back to this comment by Brambo because we were talking about Auburn. He said the swamp is going to be tougher. No doubt. Here's the crazy thing about it: we've had more success at Florida in the swamp recently than we have at Auburn. I don't know. But you are absolutely right. That crowd at Ben Hill Griffin is going to be.
Let me ask y'all this. Yesterday, we know Jordan has a tough environment. We've been saying it all week. Do y'all think that part of it? I mean, Auburn came out on fire. Do y'all think part of that was because all week they were hearing that if their coach lose this, he fired? They was playing
heard all week that Auburn didn't have a chance. How many people heard that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They saying this is last game. He fired. No, Chris, it ain't been like after the Missouri game. They said people were saying he should have been fired after the Missouri game, even though they won.
And so here's the crazy part about it. They 3-1. And I was talking to somebody today. They were like, man, do you think it's 3-2 now? But no. Yeah. They were like, you think it's Harson's gonna get fired? I said, here's the crazy thing about it. He shows up for big games.
Yeah.
He had him ready.
Oh, that team had him ready last night. Ashford,
I'm gonna tell you, they lost because they tried to get cute in the red zone with Coy Moore. Yep. If they score right there, that's a totally
not just that. I think they also lost because they pulled a Billy Napier. But this is second year. Billy Napier he was chasing touchdown and instead of trusting his defense.
Yeah, that's true. But even with that early stop, you know what I mean? If they get that any points right there, when we call more through that pass. Yeah, everybody making a good point about Banks, but I think
why such a slow start though? Like, what do y'all think? What's the reason behind that?
And I think you made a great point about the slow starts. I don't know if you remember about the when you talked about the scripted plays. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
Talking about for them or for us?
For us.
Well, everything, the first 15 to 20 plays is all scripted. You know what I mean? Like, what you're going to run in what situation. Well, whenever you have penalties that push you back, all right, that's one scripted play I can't run anymore. You know what I mean? And then once you get 6 yards, you run, then you get another penalty. Well, then that now you're off your scripted plays and you have to go for down and distance plays. So that's a total, like, you haven't worked on down and distance plays all week. You worked on them scripted plays because that's what Jaden feels comfortable with. That's what the offense feels comfortable with, and that's what you think is going to work against what you've seen, from them on film. So once you have to get away from that, it changes everything that you have to do, and that changes the way. It changes Jaden's confidence in the plays. It changes everything. You know what I mean? And so I feel like once you, in the first quarter, especially when you have penalty on every drive, pretty much.
Yeah.
On first down, probably, on the first three sequence, first, second, third down. Before you get a first down, you have a penalty, and you're behind. Yeah, exactly. And so that change, and so you're off your scripted plays before you even get started.
Right. Yeah, that's not too many plays you can call up for 1st and 15.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And even if you do have like, instead of doing this run play, I'm gonna go straight to my second down play. Well, it still threw you off. You know what I'm saying? And so that still changes everything that Dan Brock, as the play caller, had been working for. So I see some people say, Pough, if you want to put it up, forget the script and start the game like we're down 17. That's easier said than done, though, bro. Because if you start the game like you down 17 and you're in tempo and you're trying to press, what happens if you throw an interception and you get down? You know what I mean? Like, so you the best thing to do is be more disciplined as an offensive line and as an offense, and don't get pre-snap penalties to put you behind the chains before you can get going.
And not only that, let that thing go. You know what I'm saying? Just let it go. Be confident in yourself. God dang it.
Yeah. but that's true. That's true too. But at the same time, though, bro, like, this is how many penalties we had last night.
No,
like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't. Like, and honestly, and I know a lot of people, and that's 100% true. You're not gonna win many games going 8-20. You're not gonna win many games with 5 passing yards in the second half. 100% facts. You're not gonna win that many games with them kind of penalties, neither, bro. You know what I mean? Especially pre-snap, and I can understand in play penalties, holdings, and stuff like that a little bit more. That pre-snap penalties is strictly discipline.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? I know a lot of people are kind of blaming Denbrock, but like you said earlier, a lot of those guys were open. Like that pass Jaden, that pass Jaden through to Mason Taylor in the first series, bro. That's was
another thing. If you catch that and you get a first down, then you could keep going with your scripted plays. But now it's 3rd and 10 when it should have been 1st and 10. You know what I mean? Right. That changes everything.
Right, I agree, man. That's
so it's execution when it comes down to when they talk about slow start. There's penalties, execution. It's dropping passes. It's Jaden having to make better on time. That backside slant has been Jaden's Achilles heel all season.
It's open
all year, and it's either behind or it's high every time he throws it. If he can get that down, that completely changes this offense. Yes, you know what I mean? Because he had one, the pass to Malik that people can argue is, catchable, not catchable, whatever. That should have been a completion. Jaden's got to make a better throw there. I think Malik should have still caught it, but Jaden's got to make a better throw. And then there was another one to he got a PI on one to Malik that he should have been a better throw also. But that backside slant's been he's been off on that.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to move it along a little bit because we have a guest coming on at 8:30 to talk about concussions and stuff and talk about the Tua situation.
Concussion.
Yeah. So on Thursday we initially talked about it because it came out the reports about Carter Moore. We kind of read a snippet of what he said. I actually had the chance to on Friday morning to see what he said and hear from his mouth and how he said it. Have y'all been able? I mean, by now y'all been able to see it and hear it? And what are your thoughts on what he actually said?
I read it. I didn't actually hear it.
I still stand on what I said Thursday night. I understand his confidence and his belief in himself, feeling like he was the best person in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like he had to necessarily take a shot at Kayshawn. You know, and it wasn't necessary. He didn't bring Kayshawn's name up. In all fairness, the host said, "I don't know, Kayshawn's a dog," you know, or whatever And I feel like Court could have just been like, "Yeah, I'm, you know, I was the best." He didn't have. I feel like he kind of put Kayshawn down a little bit, but then he tried to give him his props and say, "I ain't taking nothing away from him." But at the same time, I feel like he didn't have any accountability on what his role was and his reason for transfer. You know what I mean? Like if you feel like you weren't getting enough playing time, then like Trey Palmer left, Deion Smith left. You know what I mean? Like you could have stuck around.
They even moved him to. They did move.
Yeah, they did try to move him to running back too.
But I mean, give him credit. Last night he actually outplayed Kayshawn.
Okay, so here's his outplaying. 4 catches, 55 yards, a thrown pick, and a
fumble.
Right. Well, it's ruled an interception, but technically it's a fumble because he
got stripped pretty much.
He pretty much got stripped.
Yeah, it was all on him. He's the reason why they lost the game.
Yeah. So I mean, he had more targets too. You know what I mean? So he had more opportunities.
That means he getting separation.
No. I can't. So the first, I don't know if you remember that one pass they threw. Kobe Richardson was guard him, and I think it was Harold Perkins underneath, and
if he turned around, that's a pick.
Yeah, and it just so happened he jumped and got it. So with that one, I mean he wasn't wide open. That was a true 50-50 ball. He made a better play on it. Yeah, he so I get listen. He played outside of his mistakes. He played a pretty good game for Auburn. I can't take that from him.
Well, he didn't realize he was playing for Auburn, but he played a good game though.
So I will say that.
Thank you, Clay.
Yeah. Shout out to Court Moore.
He was the best player on our team last night.
All right. So let me ask y'all this: who stood out for Auburn? If y'all want to go there,
let me say this.
Why are you so close? Back up, God damn!
I want you to hear.
We smell your breath too.
Is a dog. Ojulari is a dog. I'm not, and Harold is too, but BJ ain't getting as much love as he needs. Every time we need to play,
that boy BJ was step for step with a running back, or was that a running back or a tight end? I think it was a running back down the sideline.
That was a receiver, bro.
Yeah,
that was a receiver.
They said 19.
That was
he was running.
Okay, I thought that was
either way.
Yeah, either way, like that's. But Harold Perkins, when he was spying on Robbie Ashford, that click closed that he got, bro. Like whenever he read it and diagnose it, and he shoot out a cannon, dog. Like
who it look like?
It looked like the other 40.
Yeah, Amari Kelly.
He more fluid than
he
is.
But as far as speed wise, straight line speed,
here's the thing about
impressive.
That Harold Perkins play, which the one you're talking about, we're kind of referring to when Robbie he didn't rush, so he baited like he was gonna rush him and BJ. He dropped out and spied, and then as soon as he saw what Robbie was doing, he closed in, and before Robbie could throw, he hit his hand. That saved that drive for the defense. On offense, I know that
Josh Williams.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I know Emory impressed us. Let me say this.
I still loved it.
I'm gonna say this.
That run he had was the best run I've seen in years.
Yes,
literally years.
Yes, I want to say this because I want to be as fair to John Emery as we are to Jaden Daniels. When John Emery makes great plays, he doesn't get as much love as he deserves. But when he fumbles, we all over him.
He had the two biggest plays of the game, arguably.
He did.
That wheel route and then that touchdown run.
Thank you. So I do want to be fair to him and say John Emery, we saw the flashes that we've been expecting. If you can clean up, you clean up that, you know what I'm saying, and that ball security issue. Hey, sky's the limit.
There's two ball security issue and pass protection. Yeah. If he could do this, that's why I said the small thing. If he do the small things a little bit better, we gonna see the Emery we all thought he could do.
And look, I'm gonna say this. Ant tweeted out last night, and I think it was a great tweet. He said that why jump over him? Just run the guy over.
Or even just jump cut inside. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to leave. Even if you jump cut inside, your momentum can run you through him. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like he scores on that wheel route if he just jump cuts or just puts his shoulder down.
That's right.
So with everything said about that, Josh Wilson still not stand out. Yeah. He does not now. He like the push, the drive, the setting the tone as far as the physicality with the running backs.
Hey, what's that cliche thing? He bring his hat in his pill.
Yeah, he bring his hard hat in his lunch pill to work every day. Yeah,
I'm flashy. Just get it done.
Brambo says Emery still needs more touches. He earned them.
I agree to
an extent. Yeah.
I feel like depends on what they're trying to do. When you're trying to ice the game out, I want Josh Williams or Noah Cain back there. You know what I mean? Now, if it's a hurry up offense or a 2-minute offense or you know we just trying to score, give him more carries. But it depends on what you're doing. I think also speaking of icing the game. Why did we go away from the run late in the game? You had got a first down with 3 straight runs, then you threw 3 straight passes. And
then we turned around and ran it.
Those passes were on the money. If they catch those passes,
but it wasn't the first. Yeah, but they dropped it and the clock stopped.
That's true.
Like you know what I mean. So I just feel like you getting 5, 6 yards of pop running the ball. Why throw it? All you can. No, I said it while they was doing it. All you can do is stop the clock in that situation, bro. Because you're gonna get the same amount of yards. You might get 3 more yards on a pass than a run, but you might stop the clock. You ain't stopping the clock on a run.
Right. Chris said, actually, I think you asked this question: who should start at running back? And my answer, and it's kind of how it played out. You either start Josh Williams or Noah Cain. You put John Emery in the middle and let one of them two, or let them two close it out. Because John Emery, I mean, you let one of them get you, security, set the tone. Like I said, Josh Williams sets that tone. Then you let John Emery come in, be your change of pace, be your electric, and then you bring in Noah Cain or Josh Williams to have that ball security, close it out. Still gonna get you them power yards, them nasty yards.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. That I want Emery be a change of pace back, third down, that kind of guy. And let the other two be the bruise.
So for recap, I want nasty, physical, pretty, and then nasty and physical and secure.
Man, give me Josh Williams and John Emery all day. I'll take that combination all day.
I will say this. Armani Goodwin was missed last night.
Yes, he was.
I'll say that. So now let me ask this: thoughts on Auburn? Do we look at Auburn a little bit differently? Like they, just hadn't played up to potential, or do we look at them as like, nah, we fumbled the bag?
We fumbled the bag. I mean, you look at those 2 plays where they scored at. We were trying to.
They were wide open.
Play our keys. Yeah, we didn't play our keys. I mean, if you do what you're supposed to do in those situations, they don't score there. Now, don't get me wrong. Robbie Ashford, whatever his name is, the kid played great. He played a lot better than what I expected. And not only that, on that Brooks play, bro, that was the hit of the game. The kid at safety, dog. Like, for real.
I think
the game would have been if they would have won.
You say what?
It would have been the hit of the game if they would have won.
No, he's talking about
whenever he hit him.
Yeah, whenever
the interception. Well, I mean, interception.
No, he's talking about the interception.
interception when he caught him and Rob Ashford hit him. And I'm talking about he hit him so hard he woke.
Bro, the dirt came out.
Greg came up with all the Jordan had in his all the Jordan had in his helmet.
Well, I think Auburn got up for that game though, bro. Like we got they still an SEC team. I mean, look at Missouri Georgia. They an SEC team that felt like nobody gave them a chance to win, so they was finna come out and try to make a statement. And for 2 quarters, they did that. You know what I mean? Now you could say they kind of shot themselves in the foot too. You know, with that trick play in the red zone and some of the other decisions that they made. You know, so I think even you know, to your point, Daniel, the first 2 touchdowns was kind of our fault more than what they did. It was, you know, blown coverages by us, but they had other opportunities that they blew that was their fault. So you kind of balanced out a little bit.
I think both of those. I'm not both of them. I know one of those blown coverages was on Mekhi Gardner.
One of them was
Sage Ryan. Yeah.
The first.
Yeah.
And then they called that pass interference on Sage Ryan too. That was
terrible call. Wide receivers. We kind of mentioned this stuff. Do they need to just step up, put egos aside, or whatever? Hit the jug.
I think you bitch him.
I think you need to hit the jugs machine every day at the practice.
Yeah, I think you also need to humble some people too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
there is a new
get on the sideline, bro.
It's a jugs machine, but it's the new one they got where, you know what I'm saying, where it throws it in your catch radius and not necessarily a perfect pass every time. I know LSU got that because they were talking about after the 2019 season.
Yeah, they need that. They need to get on that for an hour every day at the practice.
All right,
man. But you know what? This team really reminds me of the 2018 team. It really does, man. Like
that was a struggle win at Auburn too. So now can this offense can this offense improve?
Yeah.
Everything
wrong with this offense is correctable. From play calling to execution to penalties to drop passes to, you know, making better throws, everything's fixable. We just got to all get on the same page with everything.
Right. Honestly, I believe on defense we're Mason Smith away from being elite. You know, so
yeah, that ain't no doubt.
Yeah, I can't take much away from it. This game, we know we got Tennessee coming up. Does help or hurt your confidence going into Tennessee?
It helps.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt it. It doesn't hurt it.
It helps mine because
I know our defense. I know our defense can play with them. I don't think we give up 1,000,000 yards like they've been doing on everybody else. But we also got to be able to score.
I think we can run the ball.
That's true. I think it gave me. You're right, Chris. The adjustments we made in the second half with the defense gave me some confidence. But offensively, I'm confident that you're not gonna have another game like this, bro. You know what I mean? Like if you had to have a bad game and you had to go and get it out the way, let it be this one. You know, you can't afford that versus Tennessee. Nope. You can get away with that versus Auburn.
Any other game the rest of the season as far as the SEC play, you can't do
exactly. So go and get it out the way now, and then you know what I mean. That way we know exactly. I mean, we already kind of know what we need to work on, but you know now you got it out the way. So if you had to have a bad game, this was the one.
And me just hearing Brian Kelly talk and stuff like that, I feel like I trust him to go in there and correct all that. Get them back. Don't
it feel good to have an adult actually in the room to say, hey, you know what I'm saying, not sugarcoat it. As somebody, you know what I'm saying, on here say not sunshine pump it, to say somebody who, you know what I'm saying, like Brian Kelly, he keeps it real, but he keeps it positive as well. Right. So you know what I'm saying? And it's like it's believable. So
yeah, because you know he actually gonna do what it takes to make the adjustments. And he can do it. That's the thing. He can do it actually.
Well, not only he knows what needs to be done too. He's not just looking at that like, well, there's something wrong with this offense. You know what I mean? And we have to rely on somebody else to fit. You know, he knows what needs to be done.
With in the 80s to
Boy, you is on to something else. Hey, quick question. How long before he calls Jack Marucci for help with diagnosing the offense?
Brian Kelly?
Never.
I'm just saying, Brian. I mean, Jack Marucci found
he
magical play for.
He got Dr. Arnold. He ain't gonna call him that. He gonna call Dr. Arnold.
There you go. All right.
Hey, speaking of, I seen him over there with Jaden whenever he was on the bike and stuff.
Okay.
Oh, yesterday. Yeah. Speaking of Jaden, what did they say? What happened? I know he need a knee, but I know BK said he probably could have came back in if he needed to.
He need a knee.
No, it was knee to knee.
Oh, okay. I thought you said he needed a knee.
Brambo, excellent point. Coming back from 17-0 gives me more confidence than dominant win with the offense. When the offense hasn't scored more than 7 points in any first half versus Power 5 teams, so I'm not sure about that.
That's a good point. No, he in the second half, they got like 6 points in their last 5 Power 5 games.
Yeah. Okay, I get. Okay, I got a little confused. Oh, but he's absolutely right. I think so. Here's my, and we'll get to it, but I'll elaborate more. Against Tennessee, if we can stay, because Tennessee gonna run out and jump out first. Let's be real. If we can stay within 2 possessions of Tennessee in the first half, to close out halftime.
Do y'all think that bye week hurt them or help?
It helped. It helped them and let them get. It let them get healthy. And let them get healthy. And let them game plan.
It's 2 ways you can look at it, depending on how you.
But I get what you're saying, Chris. Like slow down their momentum.
It made them rusty. They rely on a lot of timing. You know what I mean? And so
then they played an 11 o'clock game in a hot ass sun.
I mean,
like they could be kind of rusty to start the game because reps, and then you had a week off, and then it's an early kickoff on the road. You know what I mean? Like they could kind of sleepwalk for a quarter, but the offense ain't gonna sleep long forever. You know what I mean? They're gonna wake up eventually. But
look, honestly, I look for Tennessee to challenge our wide receivers. I think this would be a game, and of course, we was hoping that
challenge our wide receivers or DBs.
I think they'll challenge our wide receivers. That's hard.
Wide receivers, okay.
Tennessee has like the worst pass defense in the SEC.
Right, but I mean, what all season, honestly, what has our wide receiver group shown? You know what I'm saying?
If there was a game that our wide receivers would have a good game to go off, it would be against the worst pass defense in the SEC.
I agree, but we said the same thing against Auburn last week too, though.
But Auburn doesn't have the worst pass defense in the SEC.
Auburn defense ain't that bad.
Now, I will say this.
Tyler, Arkansas was the worst until they played Texas A&M, and Texas A&M only had like 150 yards passing, so that helped Arkansas's numbers out.
Okay, so I will say this: outside of the Florida State game, our wide receivers have pretty much, had decent games. No, they've had decent games
until last night.
Now let me ask this. Let's move on, and this is tying both LSU and the rest of the NCAA. Originally, I was going to ask, when will we see LSU rank? But it came out today. LSU is number 25 coming in. And Chris, you kind of asked the question last night about why is USC so high and why are they moving up? And they're winning, but who are they beating? And so, it of course, it's all based off preseason polls. So, how much stock should we take in preseason rankings and rankings at this point of the season?
Well, at this point in the season, you can't. We 5 games in.
Yeah,
so there's a resume for teams at this point. Now I think part of the reason why USC is high is preseason, and they're also 5-0. You know what I mean? So I think
they also play pretty good ball too.
Yeah, so it's that offense is legit.
Yeah.
So but
they do like Oklahoma on defense. I'm just saying, not trying to be funny.
No, that's true. But whenever he was in Oklahoma doing that, they was ranked pretty high too. So you know what I mean. So it's pretty much the same thing. But I think I don't put much stock into the rankings until it gets closer to playoff time anyway, because these don't matter. You know what I mean? This is just for people to have talking points about it, and so they could sell tickets to games and stuff like that. But
right. And I mean, it's beneficial. It's beneficial for them to actually rank us at 25 this week, anyways.
Yeah, so they can have a top 25 matchup in Baton Rouge.
Exactly.
Which is why I'm mad. Which is why I'm mad that we're ranked number 25.
Yeah.
If you gonna rank
Y'all
us,
think we get game day?
no.
Game day is going to Kansas TCU. They already announced it.
No,
So, and
what?
Chris, and before you say something,
For real, come on.
before you say
TCU
something,
gonna
hold
blow
on.
Kansas is 5-0.
Kansas is 5-0.
TCU
Okay.
gonna blow them out. Watch.
Okay, Chris, do you want to bet on that? When you say blow them out, what's blow them out?
$10
That's fine. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no problem. But when you say blow them out, what's blowing them out?
He gonna say 2
They're
scores.
gonna beat them by 21 more points.
Oh wow!
Okay.
I take that bet.
I take that all day. Okay.
What are you breaking
everybody on here?
I'm
No,
not giving
everybody.
you those points though.
How you just said blow them out, and I'm telling you they're not going to blow them out.
Man, you betting head up.
No.
I say TCU gonna win by at least 10 though.
Hey, real quick.
TCU is a beast.
Kansas. Okay. I'm gonna say this, Chris, and I know
TCU got offense, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, they fast. They fast.
Right.
I watched that game.
But hey, speaking of
Kansas,
though, speaking of Kansas, like Miss Nikki said, they're a basketball school, right? But Duke, like 4-1 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Syracuse, North Carolina, UCLA, like Kentucky, like it's all these basketball schools getting good at football. I feel like we're in the twilight zone or something.
Right. Yeah. Hey, big shout out to my guy Graham Kelly, man. That's my LSU.
It'd be good up until it's time to be good.
Tiger section neighbor right there, and also my college teammate, man.
But when the last time they went 5-0, like the 4-0, all of them teams went 4-0, 5-0 to start the season. I don't think that probably has ever happened.
Hey, and I want to throw Wake Forest in there because Wake Forest is traditionally a basketball school too.
Yeah,
hey, but
they're more basketball than football. That's for sure.
Hey, but the SEC is starting to make some noise too in the basketball.
And Tyler, this you hitting on what we're about to talk about. Parity across the NCAA. Why so? Transfer portal.
Yep.
A lot more teams are more competitive at this time. Let's be real.
Auburn,
Mizzou challenging Georgia, Tulsa pushing Ole Miss.
Well, Middle Tennessee State, App State, a lot of them. Well, even though Middle Tennessee State got clapped yesterday, but a lot of them G5 schools that are hanging in and beating some of these P5 schools, it's because they got P5 transfers, and most of them at quarterback.
Hey, did we owe Auburn and Mizzou a little bit more respect though after this weekend?
I mean, it's an SEC game, bro. Every SEC game is gonna be a hard fought victory.
Right.
What y'all think about Mississippi State after this?
But even when you look at what Bama did to Arkansas, you look at the scoreboard, it looked like they blew them out.
That game was close.
That was a fight. That was a fight, bro.
You didn't watch? Did you watch the game?
Chris watched it, but Chris watched it from
he watched it from
toilet paper glass is what the first thing he wanted to yell out is
Arkansas. No, the first thing he wanted to say is Arkansas ain't like that. I told y'all they ain't like that. So he gonna say that they got blew out, even though they was hanging in there, and it was a 1-score game late in the third quarter.
Hey, what was the score at halftime, bro?
What was the score late in the third quarter?
Facts, bro. Arkansas was literally on the verge.
Hold on, man.
What was our score at halftime?
Man, move on, man.
Okay, then.
Point proved.
Okay, then.
Point proved. Chris, what was our score going into the fourth quarter against Florida State?
What was we now? Like 17-7 or something like that? 0?
Something like that.
It's a 4-quarter game, bro.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but that was just looking like there was.
I'm Chris.
Superior over them.
Chris, I want to say this, and I keep telling you, and you say these teams ass and these trash, and I want to say this, Chris, and I hate to bring because it was heartbreaking for me. My son's team last year, the last game of the season, it was the win to go to the playoffs. Whichever team won, go to the playoffs. They went into halftime. The score was 28-14. They lost 56-28.
Hey.
Yeah. It's and guess what the score was? Guess what the score was going into the fourth quarter? The score going into the fourth quarter was 35-28. They had the other team had just taken the lead going into the fourth quarter, and we had the ball. And all we got to do is drive down and score. They got pick, fumble, and everything else, and scored. And that's how they. And that was so 4 quarters every time. So let's hit on these 2 quick topics, and we can move on. Our guest is in the building. Bryce Young was injured yesterday. Speaking of the Alabama-Arkansas game, so
chill out, bro. Come on, we're not gonna root for injuries, man.
I'm not. I'm just.
They can't root for no injury.
They called it. They called it an AC joint issue with his shoulder. I think that's the same thing.
That's what TJ.
TJ, yeah. So we're gonna see a lot more Milroe. And I'm gonna say this. Go ahead, Ant.
Alabama looked beatable before Bryce got hurt too, though.
Yeah, they did.
Arkansas
couldn't do nothing with him at first before he got out. They turned Arkansas every way but loose, belt to ass.
Yeah. Hey, I do. That was stupid. But Dan, you did mention this. I'm gonna shout out Graham. Says Graham Kelly say D Will came across the channel and sub. I'm so hyped for Saturday, bro. We're gonna have that section jumping.
I appreciate the sub, bro.
Well, we do. We truly do appreciate it. All right. Next thing. Should we read too much into? Because we just talked about it with the parody. Should we read too much? Should we read much into when top teams struggle against lesser competition?
Depends on who the lesser competition is. Like Georgia struggling with Kent State is not Georgia struggling with Missouri. You know what I mean? Like when USC struggle with Rice or some who like that, that's a little different than struggling with Oregon State. You know what I mean? Like when anytime it's a conference game, you're gonna struggle a little bit, and it's gonna be a little harder to win those games. But whenever you playing an inferior team, like Kent State, or like when we played New Mexico, if we struggled with New Mexico like we struggled with Auburn, that'd be a totally different situation. So I think it depends on what lesser team you're talking about.
I don't think no team is lesser than the SEC, really. Like as far as this overly outmatched, except Vanderbilt.
Okay, I was waiting on you to say that because I know you don't include them as part of the SEC.
Don't tell Pough that. He gonna go back and look up.
No, listen. You keep saying that, Chris. My only thing when I was trying to get you to understand, Vanderbilt is better than the Vanderbilt that we are used to.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Them being and
they're good. They're good. That's the thing. They're good based on Vanderbilt standards.
I tell you what, Chris. If you put Vanderbilt in, if you put in the ACC or you know what I'm saying.
The ACC the weakest conference right now, in my opinion.
And power
North Dakota State or something.
Bro, they're not LCS. I tell you what, Chris. If you put in, I'll give you an example. If you swap Vanderbilt with Texas,
I think you're wrong on that one.
Texas and Oklahoma. If you swap when Texas and Oklahoma come to the SEC, if you put Vanderbilt over there, they could probably compete.
Who the worst conference then?
I think it's the Pac-12.
Nah.
You don't think the Pac-12 worse than the ACC?
I think the ACC. I think you got Wake Forest.
You got Pac-12 better than them. I think because of the Pac-12, you got USC, you got Utah. Oregon ain't terrible. You got Washington, who's
UCLA.
UCLA.
They got a lot of tough places to play that over there.
ACC is the worst conference, bro. They got Wake Forest, NC State, and
Wake
Clemson
Forest,
State.
And
that's it.
Florida State played last night.
Florida State lost to Wake Forest.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. They got like 4 teams there. They got like 3 or 4 teams.
Right. You're right.
Yeah. Producer says the Big Ten is very top heavy.
That's true, but they teams at the top pretty damn good.
They got one top heavy team. One good
Michigan.
Two.
Michigan, Ohio State.
Ohio State. That's it.
And then they got Penn State.
Yeah. This year.
My bad.
This year.
So I forgot about Penn State.
Then they got Penn State. Michigan State having a down year. Iowa ain't all that great. Maryland they could put up some points. Wisconsin having a down year. They just fired their coach.
Maryland gonna beat one of them teams for I don't know if it's gonna be
crazy that Wisconsin just fired their coach like that, bro.
Yeah. So coaches, Mickey Joseph got his first win at Nebraska yesterday. Beating Indiana.
Yeah.
They beat the Hoosiers.
So, All right.
Good
So
for Mickey, man. He deserved it.
we got Saints talk, but we're gonna hold off on that because I guess we're gonna respect this time, get them in here real quick. So without further ado, you ready, Ant? I'm going ahead and get this ready. I want to bring to the show my big cuz, Dr. Christopher Pough, physical and occupational therapist. Welcome to the Golden Boot, Chris. Nice to have you on. Thank you.
Appreciate having me, man. Appreciate it.
And he's repping his DU dealer. Chris is the reason why I didn't graduate on time. He had me in New Orleans every other weekend.
Can't put that on me because I came out in 4 years. I can't put that one on me.
I know. I was there helping you study.
We'll say that. We'll go with it.
But now, Dr. Christopher Pough, would you rather us call you Doc or Chris?
Chris is cool.
I want to call you Doctor.
Yeah, Chris is cool, man. Chris is cool.
Hey, by the way, my back hurting. I'll hit you up later. I need a prescription. But hey, but thank you for coming on. We did. I talked to you Friday. We were talking about this, and I was like, hey, man, come on, talk to us about saying concussions and stuff. We all saw Thursday night. We were actually live on the show when Tua got his second concussion in 4 days. Well.
Allegedly.
So the Dolphins, according to the Dolphins, it was the one against Buffalo was a back and ankle injury. So yeah, take that as you will. But let me ask you this. Let me start off this first. Let me ask you, as far as so people can understand and why we, brought you on as a physical and occupational therapist, what exactly is it that you that you do?
So basically, being a physical therapist and an occupational physical therapist, we're movement specialists. Our schooling teaches us how people move and everything associated with it, which is, the muscles, the bones, the nerves, basically how they interact with each other, basically looking for things to help people get back to their everyday function. Just like you have these athletes who get injured, our goal is to get them back to their function, rehab them so they can basically be at that baseline or even better. So that's our goal with everything. Occupational therapy is the same thing, trying to get people back to what we call their activities of daily living, things that they do on a daily basis, take care of their families, take care of themselves.
Gotcha. So we all here, especially in football world, concussion. What exactly is a concussion?
Well, concussion realistically is a brain injury. It's a mild brain injury. So it's basically happens when somebody has a blow to the head, or if their head shakes repeatedly, basically the brain hitting the skull. So it's kind of like the brain is getting bruised, to kind of put it in its more simplest terms. A lot of times doctors, they don't treat concussions. They say mild brain injury just because it's usually not life-threatening overall, but basically at the end of the day, it's truly the brain getting bruised by either a blow to the head or the brain actually hitting the skull.
Chris, let me also ask you this. So when you're saying it's getting bruised, is it something that heals over time, or is it something to where it's like it lasts?
So it heals over time, man. One thing people don't realize, the human body is amazing. It heals itself. We kind of like Wolverine off of X-Men. We heal ourselves a lot of time, and the body does a lot of things to compensate. So over time, those brain cells, they heal. As they say, a lot of people say, oh, when you drink alcohol, you're losing brain cells. We have a lot of brain cells, and a lot of them continue to rejuvenate themselves. However, it does take a little time. Yeah, it's true.
I got a question for you. There was a boxer in South America who passed away a few days after getting knocked out in a fight. So when we talk about head injuries and stuff like that, how long after you sustain that head injury is there like a window of when now you're okay after you receive a head injury?
So it's really based on symptoms. Everybody's different. No head traumas, no concussions are the same, unfortunately. I heard the young lady on ESPN today, Stephania Bell. Yeah. I want to know how she got her job. I'd love to be in her place, but she talked about it. They're kind of like snowflakes. No snowflake are the same, and it's true. With concussions, everybody's symptoms are different, so it's very symptom based. So depending on the severity, you have some people who might be out literally a week and they're right back. You have some people, they might be out a month or a couple months. I've seen patients or heard of patients who been out as long as 3 months from a concussion. But again, it was a pretty severe one. So they have still a lot of those symptoms that they just can't function.
Does it like having multiple, being successful, like if you've had 5, 6, does it take you longer to recover at that point?
Yes, it does. So you're basically repeating, you're having a repeat injury to the same area and sometimes areas around it. So it will take a lot longer to heal. You have some people, unfortunately, their symptoms continue to get worse because of those repeat concussions. So the body doesn't just bounce back as fast from it. A lot of people, I think that's why they kind of put a stamp as far as how many individuals had to determine kind of where they should fall with the protocols with concussions. And that's why, concussions become such a hot topic because more and more research is coming out about it. Just like with Alzheimer's and everything that's dealing with neurosciences, you have a lot of individuals that know more now. So the more they know, the more they're able to categorize it and try to figure out ways to, safely return people.
Yeah, I think that goes to one of the questions I had. Is it a rise in the number of concussion, or is it just better understanding that, hey, a concussion has occurred?
Better understanding. I mean, just like with anything over time, especially in the sports arena, if we all know, think about just genetics in general. These athletes are getting bigger, faster, just genetically over time. Like, it's guys who in high school today look like grown men. And I remember when I was in high school, we had 1 or 2 of those, but now you're seeing a whole team that looks like that. So the things you think about that, just with the development of genetics, but also with the development of knowledge in sports sciences, you have individuals who they're researching these concussions because they want to get these individuals back to playing as soon as possible. Just like with training, you have people in middle school who have trainers. So, from a sports performance standpoint, they're learning how to be more explosive. They're learning how to be, quicker. They're learning how to be stronger, and it's just, again, evolution.
All right.
I have one question too. So, of course, you kind of explained to us what a concussion is. Like, what are the symptoms of concussion? You know what I'm saying? Because especially we have high school players, college players who may not have 10 athletic trainers. And, what does it look like?
Yeah, so it varies. Again, symptom based on the person. A lot of times you'll have people who have the light sensitivity. Headache is the really most common one. Individuals, as you see a lot of them shake their head when they first get up, like they say, shaking the cobwebs out. They're literally trying to orient themselves. You have some people who have nausea, vomiting, blurred vision, where they're seeing double. And then, you have some also people who unfortunately have seizures, following them as well. So it literally varies the severity based on the individual and the person. But, those are the most common signs and symptoms that you see. And like you said, it's hard to determine. And sometimes people can have one so mild, they don't even realize they had one,
So after you've been diagnosed with a concussion, I know most of the time, they tell you don't go to sleep, stay away from lights, TV, all that kind of stuff. Were you surprised when you saw that not only did Tua fly back with the team that night, that he watched a movie with his coach of all people on the flight? Like, that seems to me like the worst thing you can do following a head injury.
Well, I feel like the worst thing you could do is not recognizing the first one in the first place against Buffalo. I mean, anybody watching it, I was watching the game live and saw this gentleman get up and literally shake his head, take some steps, and literally collapse.
Yeah.
And to say ankle and back, I've had back spasms. I know individuals have them. They can hurt, but to literally almost put you face down.
Yeah, I had a guy at a high school game Friday night talk about that, and he said, man, listen, I've had back problems. He said, I hunch over, I don't stumble and fall.
Yeah,
so exactly.
Now he did have a play. He did have a play where he got kind of folded up, and he was slow to get up, and he was hunched over on that play, and that he might have hurt his back on. But the play you're talking about, where he shook off the cobwebs and then took a few steps, fell, his lineman helped him up, took a few more steps, and then they literally had to hold him up in the huddle. I don't see how you can say that's anything but a concussion.
Exactly. I mean, but the thing with him though, I mean, honestly, there was a lot of red flags just hearing it. I mean, being a medical vet, I've been a therapist almost 15 years now. I went through a fellowship training program where I'm certified in orthopedic manual therapy. I'm not an expert in concussions, but we do get a lot of knowledge on them, and also plan to extend my knowledge. But even talking to other therapists and people in that field, it just don't make sense. You know, with all these medical providers, it just doesn't make sense. The risk that you're putting on this individual, one, letting them play. Two, that you caught him off. But the fact that he got discharged the same night in the neck brace and was able to fly. I think Stephen A. or it might have been Marcus Spears actually was talking about it. Think about when you fly, the cabin pressure that you feel in your head sometimes, and when you're chewing gum.
Right.
You have a headache just from flying normally, but to have a concussion on top of it, I mean, I just couldn't imagine putting someone through that. So, you know, I think just certain steps were definitely missed. That's why I think you're seeing the firing of the unaffiliated neurologist. But even with that, I still think it was definitely more of a pull on the Dolphins organization, probably saying, hey, you know, we need to make sure we get him back to Miami versus being there in the University of Cincinnati Hospital. But a lot of things seem to be red flags, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Because let me ask you this real quick. Protocols. There are protocols in place. So it's supposed to prevent this from happening, him going back on the field. In the same game, the Buffalo game, also supposed to be protocols throughout the week that are supposed to be activated by an outside source or whatever. Obviously, that didn't happen. We see that in response, the PA, the Players Association, basically made the Dolphins fire that doctor. How are these protocols missed? Because I mean, I'm not saying that they didn't go through them, but how are protocols like this missed? Or
So it's kind of hard to speak to that just because I don't know what aspects they say he passed.
Yeah.
So, you know, that'd be something, you know, if they release that would give us a better idea. But I mean, typically if individuals have concussion, they ask you questions. They ask you a serious question. They try to see if you're alert and oriented, you know, kind of where you're located, your name, you know, what time is it, you know, just different questions to make sure you're alert and oriented. Some of those things you can definitely make it through. A lot of it's the coordination components. Because sometimes, just like think about with boxing, when the referee grabs the hands and pulls the individual towards them and tries to see basically, can they stand up on their own and can they, you know, resist me or basically follow my commands? If they can't, they call the fight. And, you know, a lot of it's the coordination, the instability from that standpoint. You know, I honestly don't know how he passed those protocols. But again, it's so individualized and symptom based on the individual. You know, based on how he demonstrated on film, I don't see how his helmet was not taken away and how anything was missed to allow him to finish the Buffalo game and on top of playing the following game.
Yeah. Let me ask you. So I know we're talking about Tua, but I have a quick question about Antonio Brown. Of course, we know Antonio Brown has been doing some crazy things over the last couple of years, but you know, I've watched some earlier interviews of him before he took the hit by I think it's Burfict. Yeah, Burfict. And you can tell there's a slight difference in who this guy is now and before he took that hit. I mean, can you speak on that possibly?
Well, some of it's probably ego, but I understand where you're coming from. One of the things individuals don't realize, and it's a real thing, is the CTE.
Yeah.
You know, it's real. You know, I think the movie that Will Smith had that brought so much light to it that unfortunately put a negative light on the NFL. It is truly real. This is something that's ongoing. You got individuals who continue to get these brain injuries or these concussions, and it leads to long-term damage, and it leads to personality changes as well. Just like individuals who might have a loved one that suffers from dementia or Alzheimer, you start seeing a shift of who that person is at some point, and to the point where you like, sums up. This is not them normally, and I think he might be showing some signs. Can I prove it? Can we prove it? No, but I mean, like you said, look at interviews from him in the past, and look at him now. He's definitely doing some wild things. But again, a lot of it is, they have to test them. They do the baseline test of all the NFL players. Now, this is kind of something new. They started doing those over the past couple of years to see where they are baseline at the beginning of the season. I think they do the repeat testing on that. But, it's even some schools, even down to the high school level, that have started doing that as well. I live in Atlanta now, but I moved here from Texas, Dallas area. Football huge in Texas. It's $1 million stadium, so they have a lot of resources. But you have a lot of kids who have to go through and get concussion tested prior to the season start. Right. Just to get an idea of what their baseline is. And I say the CTE component of it is something that I think, people that they know they risk when they go to play the game, but at the same time, that doesn't mean, it's still not a bad thing. And I know the game is definitely evolving, and they're doing things for the safety for us, the new helmets. You see the padding that they put on the helmets in practice to help prevent some of the blows. But again, people will continue to get bigger, faster, stronger in their performance. And it's physics, it's physics.
If I could also say this too, a lot of times whenever people refer to CTE, it's always on the NFL level. I mean, honestly, of course, I don't have anything to prove it, but I think this probably can affect high school, college players also.
If you look at
a brain injury is a brain injury,
right?
Exactly. What age you are.
Aaron Hernandez, they said, was one of the most severe cases, and he hadn't been in the league all that long. So you got to imagine all the stuff that he was alleged to have done. And also with the brain, the tests and stuff. Before you deploy, they did one. Before I deployed, they did one on us, and then when we got back, they did one as well. So
just think about it this way too. Football unrelated. Think about it, you got somebody who comes from a rough past and a rough childhood, and they fought all their life. Yeah. You get in a bunch of fights, and you take a couple blows, and even potentially get knocked out once or twice. Those concussions. Those are brain injuries. Yeah. So if you got that on top of football itself. Yeah. You definitely set yourself up potentially have those brain injuries and some long-term effects.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, all right, so I know we're talking about concussions and head injuries, but as you know, in your job, you do more than just concussions. So I want to ask you about another injury that's kind of near and dear to our hearts down here in Louisiana. But Jameis Winston has four fractures in his back, and he attempted to play with that. What is a typical timeline for an injury like that, and do you think that he will be 100% healthy this season, or is that something that's going to linger for a while?
So 100% healthy for the season, though, just because the season typically full healing takes around 12 weeks total. So depending on when he sustained the fractures. The other part of it that you have to think about and consider is, even with rehab, the way the body heals is rest as well. Yeah. If you're in a season, that body's not resting. Yeah. You're still getting hit. I mean, and as fortunately, I hate to say it about my Saints, but they haven't been protecting them too well either.
That's true.
Them hits he's taking is not not helping at all. So 100% no, but definitely can recover from it. One of the things, he is young, but unfortunately, over his career, he's taken some hits. I mean, his time in Tampa, he took quite a bit of hits. So, he's going to need some time to rehab. But as we all know, Jameis has surprised a lot of people from a rehab standpoint. I've gotten to watch some of his rehabs with his knee, and watching him, in the off season, the man puts in work. He puts in work to get himself where he needs to be to perform. And I hate to hear, see that happen for him, because I really had high expectations for him this season because, like I said, he puts in the work. But again, a fracture, especially in the spine, you're dealing with stability issues. It could lead to issues with him having nerve pain down the legs, or also in the upper extremity based on where it's located in the spine. So it can even affect him, with running or the grip of the football. So a lot of things definitely that can play a part with it. They have to really, have good precautions around it.
So you think he shouldn't have played the last couple games once he got the fracture?
Yeah, I don't think so because just his future. But again, he's been out this long. He wants to play.
Yeah.
He wants to basically prove the naysayers wrong. He wants to be able to, lead his team to have that playoff run and potentially be Super Bowl contender, especially with the pieces that they add, from the draft and the, Jarvis Landry, and then, you got Tyron on the defensive side. I mean, you're putting a team together to make that run. So again, he wants to be a part of it, and I get it. As people who play sports, they want to be in the game. They don't want to be sitting on the sideline cheering for their team. So.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, if he's not gonna be able to walk in 10 years, like,
Unfortunately, quarterbacks, athletes, short-term memory. They don't think about that long-term effects,
Exactly.
Unfortunately,
right.
That's why they need people to protect them from themselves.
That's right.
That's true.
Bingo.
Real statement.
Let's get back to the concussion real quick. This is the last, as far as concussion that I have. How do you usually treat as a physical therapist? How do you, how do you treat concussions, or how do you recommend concussions be treated, and the average time of recovery?
So again, average time is honestly specific on the individual. It could be anywhere from probably a couple weeks to a month to a couple months. You have some people who bounce back within a week. As far as treatment is truly based on graded activity. And when I say graded activity, that means, let's say what they have to do and what their end goal is. You want to grade them up to it. So if they have to be able to run 100 yards, you start with them being able to run 5 yards. Then you grade it up to 10. Then you keep adding to see how they respond. Are they having any symptoms, or does any of the activities elicit symptoms? A lot of times concussions go hand in hand with coordination drills. So they'll probably have them doing different things with their coordination, balance activities. One of the things too is just getting some of the sensitivities, such as the light sensitivity, to calm down. You have some clinics that when they treat concussions, they might have an individual wearing sunglasses, or they might have, the area that they're treating have a very dim light, so they don't have the issues with the light sensitivity. So usually most individuals are basically done through a graded activity. So they will have aerobic component to it, where they have to do running, like on a treadmill or on a bike, anything to kind of get their heart rate going, because again, it kind of causes that physiological response. So with that being said, they're trying to see, does it elicit symptoms? How bad are the symptoms? Are the symptoms improving? And they continue to grade and bump them up a little bit more with each treatment based on how they responded.
Man, cuz I appreciate you coming through, Dr. Chris.
No problem, man.
That Dillard education, that St. Augustine education coming through, we appreciate it. Hey, I want to say shout out. Let's go ahead and get all these student loans forgiven. I know that'll help everybody out. But I appreciate it, cuz. Thank you for coming through. Is there anything else? I guess from that you might want to promote or say, or health wise, you might want to tell us, for our betterment of our health.
No, man. I mean, biggest thing is, as we all know, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So definitely make sure the women that you love, make sure that they're taking care of themselves and catching those signs. We just finished Prostate Cancer Awareness Month in September. My dad's a prostate cancer survivor, going on 11 years now, and actually had early detection, which he had surgery on the last semester of my graduate school, or I had to take my final exam, which was the most stressful day of my life to heal. My dad's having surgery to remove the cancer. So we'll say God is great, but the biggest thing is, man, it's the most preventative cancer. Guys, make sure if it runs in your family, have your annual physicals, pay attention to your symptoms, because unfortunately, especially as Black men, we don't have to die from prostate cancer if we detect it early enough. So,
when should we start getting checked for that, honestly?
So, usually they say if you have a family history, you should be starting as early as potentially 40 years old. But, I would definitely say consult with your primary care physician. But you know, if you don't have a family history, some people say 45 or even 50 years old. But you know, again, it's pretty prevalent within men and especially African American men. I was just talking to someone who their uncle literally has prostate cancer, but he ignored the signs, has a history in his family, and now he got a cancer that he potentially could pass away from that could have been prevented.
Wow.
So that's the biggest thing. Just take care of your loved ones, take care of yourself, man. Always, you know, be looking out for each other. All we got.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, sir.
All right, real quick. So I had a question. So we're in Louisiana, right? I'm in South Louisiana. People down here love to drink. So quick question. In a shot, how many brain cells you lose per shot?
Bro, this dude right here, man.
I can't tell you that answer. I don't know. I don't know at all, man.
Hold on.
I went to college in New Orleans, so I can't say.
It depends on what you're
on.
taking a shot of.
Okay. No, not just that. Chris, can you explain that you have to have them first to lose them? Okay.
That's a true statement too. That's a true statement.
All right, Chris. Honey Bun Chris. What you got? That's you, Chris.
Hey,
Honey
Dr.
Bun
Chris,
Chris.
I'm regular Chris, by the way. Yeah, I was gonna ask you because I was just wondering how it feel to be a Dr. Chris since I'm regular. But on the other hand, when you was getting ready to go to college and finish, like, are one of y'all requirements to be in shape? Like, to be a physical therapist, do you have to be in shape? Because I've never seen one out of shape.
I have. No, it's not, but you have to think about it. You do need to try to be in some form of physical fitness just because if you're trying to promote healthy living to your patients, are they really going to take advice from you when you're not looking healthy to them? So that's something you have to kind of keep in mind. Just like even with patients, we always talk. We don't tell patients or have them do exercise that we can't physically do either, because again, you know, they're looking for you as an example. So I'd say there's some ones that are not in top shape. I'm not in the best of shape myself. I need to get back in the gym like I used to be, but you know, kids, family, all that stuff. But I do want to say though, y'all done a great job, man. I'm very proud of this podcast, especially my cousin here. When he told me that y'all were doing this, and I'm glad it's taking taking sales and taking win, because I mean, y'all hilarious. Y'all have some good content. Y'all, I think, feed off each other really well, man. And especially, I love to see us, you know, doing something well, especially giving out some positive vibes. So keep up the great work, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. Hey, love you and appreciate you, cuz.
Thank you too, bro.
All right, man. And everybody, that was Dr. Christopher Pough, physical and occupational therapy. All right.
Hey, Pough Bear, he definitely has better hair than you too. That's
Hey,
awesome.
you know who got better hair than you?
Everybody.
Not Ant.
Hey, Daniel, that's where Pough get all his big from.
Hey, I need a haircut.
What?
I need a haircut. My hair still look better than yours.
What you said, Chris? That's why I get all my
You
what?
can't see Daniel lying. It's like bald all the way to the back.
Hey.
It was started right here.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, Chris. You being regular Chris.
You
is
got
hilarious,
hey,
bro.
Pooh, what you saying?
No, hey, Daniel, you put some respect on my boy name. That's President Chris.
Hey,
President
Chris, say I'm just regular Chris.
Hey, he said, "Hi, Dr. Chris. I'm just regular Chris.
I just want to know what it feels like to be a doctor."
Boy, you funny.
Hey,
Oh man,
that's hilarious, bro.
shout out,
Never change, Chris. Never change.
shout out, man. Tony says we got 22 people viewing live and only 7 likes. Like, comment, and share.
Please.
Hey, appreciate that. Please do that. It help us out. You know, send it to somebody. Tell them to subscribe. So, all right. So let's jump back to it. Hey, do we want to finish talking about everybody else in the NFL, or we want to talk about the Saints first?
Talk about
We ain't really got to talk about the Saints if y'all want to. I mean,
we can spend 2 minutes on it.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and say the quick pleasantries out the way.
I ain't even watched the game, bro.
Yeah, it was early, Chris,
early,
and
dog.
I was falling asleep. But Andy
Dalton
Dalton
too early to mess up my damn day. But
yeah,
anyway, go ahead.
Andy Dalton got his first start for the Saints. He was, and let me bring this up. I got the stats right here.
20 or 28.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. He was 20 or 28. He was 20 or 28, 236, 1 touchdown.
He was good.
2 sacks. He was what 2 sacks for 9 yards.
Yeah, he had a fumble.
And okay,
He gonna win the job.
I'm not going that far.
No, I'm not, and I'm ready for this, Chris. I'm ready for this one. This is the one I've been waiting on right here.
So, Ant, let me ask you because I asked this a little bit earlier. Now I'll take the stats down. Now that we've seen a different quarterback, we've even started seeing some of our weapons come back. Healthy. Kamara didn't play today. Neither did Michael Thomas. Can we now narrow down to where some of the issues are?
Yeah, and it ain't the quarterback. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put all the context out there. All right, Michael Thomas didn't play today. Alvin Kamara didn't play today. Andrews Pete didn't play today. All right, we're gonna throw that out there. All right, there was pretty much no difference in healthy Jameis Winston week 1 and Andy Dalton today. There was pretty much no difference.
How he had everybody?
How what you mean? How he had it? He was also playing a team that they play twice every year that knows everything we're going to do offensively, right or wrong.
But you got a new OC.
The new OC.
Who got a new OC?
It's the same OC that's been here for 16 years.
But Sean was calling the plays.
Was he? Y'all said that Pete called plays in the past. So was he?
Pete is trash.
Y'all
That's
said
what
he
we've
was
been
good.
saying.
I said he was trash from jump. But anyways, back to what I was saying. All right. So in the first half, we had 7 points this week and in week 1, right? Week 1, Will Lutz missed the field goal. And so you should have had 10 points. I mean, you should have had, thanks, bro.
Zay, it's true. He said, when I die, bury me in a Saints jersey so they can let me down one final time.
Thanks. Hey, I want them to be my pallbearers though, so they can actually be the ones to let me down. But anyway, so we should have had 10 points week 1, but Will Lutz missed the field goal. So we both games. You had 7 points at halftime. All right, we had one drive in the first half where we got a first down, and that was on the drive where we scored a touchdown on. And you didn't get a first down until Taysom Hill came in the game as your spark plug and got you a first down. The exact same situation as week 1, where you had the touchdown against Atlanta because Taysom Hill had a long run to set up the touchdown drive. So both first halves exactly the same, 7 points, and the only reason you got the points was because Taysom was a spark plug. Then if you look at the second half, the offense picked up some, but it was because you was behind. You know what I mean? Like, the only thing I would say was better today than when Jameis Winston was the quarterback was the red zone offense looked better under Andy Dalton than it did under Jameis Winston. And that it's kind of like a Nurse Daniels situation where Andy Dalton got the ball out of his hands quicker and he wasn't holding the ball as long. But other than that, the offense, you got the exact same result. You scored 20 to 25 points and you didn't do nothing in the first half. And the only thing you did in the second half came whenever you had to throw the ball pretty much.
Yeah. Has anybody seen Alvin Kamara?
He didn't play this week. He played last week.
He's my neighbor, Chris. I'll go see where he's at.
That boy.
Wake him up, tell him to get to New Orleans. I ain't seen the guy.
Nah, I ain't. Don't forget that. He your neighbor. Tell Ted. Never mind.
Chill out. Hey, but look, Eric Bieniemy, we need him.
You know something. I said that, and people kept telling me, "Oh, nah, he's a fraud. He don't call plays, and Reed call plays." Right. So I'm not even gonna fight that battle.
My whole thing is it started at the top, bro.
Yeah,
and I know, like Adam say, the hands to the face call, and there was some other people. Mm-hmm. There was questionable calls. Don't get me wrong, fair enough. But at the same time, there was plenty of calls that should have been called too. You know what I mean? This team played undisciplined, and this the fourth game in a row we done had 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
When it like you got in 4 games you got 4 games? Yeah, 4 games you got like 8 fumbles, 6 fumbles, something like that. You had 2 today. You had 2 last week. You know what I mean? I just want to know. I just want to know what makes Dennis Allen think that he ain't got to change nothing. That dude stand on the sideline. I ain't seen him get pissed off yet. It just seemed like he just happy to be there. You know what I mean? Like, if the Saints don't make the playoffs, I want Dennis Allen gone.
Yeah, but at the same time, if they don't make the playoffs,
I want him gone.
I seen somebody tweet it.
Fire him.
the Eagles gonna have possibly a top 5 pick, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And that's even more reason why you should have a sense of urgency as a team and not go out there and lose. Whenever they fumble the ball, you on the sideline just standing there like this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, bro. Get on somebody.
It's crazy, man.
It's Dennis Allen is not the answer, like Xavier says. He was never the answer. This team tried to be lazy and tried to keep together the culture of Sean Payton. I said it too. Try to keep together the culture of Sean Payton.
I think we all said it, to be honest.
When it's pretty obvious that the culture of Sean Payton was broken at the end. That's why Sean Payton wanted to leave.
That's why he left. Exactly.
Exactly. Sean Payton was here wanting to be going through this.
Hey, I think it still would have been the same issue. So Will Lutz, there's one of the bright spots from today.
Oh, man, great job.
60-yard field goal, and the 61 that he kicked hit the upright. Looked like it was gonna go in, then hit the crossbar and broke our hearts.
I can't fault him for that though.
I can't. No, I can't. Will.
He a legend. He a legend. Bro.
Yeah. So.
Well, this the first game when he looked like Will Lutz. He been shaky early in the year.
Yeah. But he's came through us. He came through for us so many times, man. It's just all right.
Our special teams is terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. You're averaging the least amount of yards on kickoff return, and Deontay Harris or Hardy supposed to be an all-pro, one of the best in the league, and it would help us offensively if he fair caught every kickoff than to him trying to return it. That's how bad that we would literally start every drive 5 yards more than we do now.
Yeah.
All right. So will the Saints bounce back?
No. I don't see it, bro.
It don't look like it.
Yeah. I have no.
If you look at
we
made the playoff run, we had slow starts.
Yeah, but
not that slow.
Yeah, but but bro, we haven't had 7 points in the first. Like today when we scored in the second half. I mean, in the second quarter. That's the first time we scored in the second quarter all season, bro.
Yeah.
Like you.
Y'all we've had on Drew Brees, not
no. I miss having.
We scored.
We scored.
Hey, but my thing too, Chris, you gotta understand.
I miss having somebody who's competent as a play caller. That's what I miss.
100%. My thing is too, with a team like this, how they're playing, and you're also playing against the refs. I don't see it changing.
Well,
I don't know
playing against the refs thing. I get it to a certain extent, but I'm kind of tired of that excuse, dog. Because honestly, bro, if you know by this point we done said it for 2-3 years. By this point, you should expect it to happen, and you should play to where you play to where all right, even if it happens, I still make up for it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm up 10 instead of being up by 7 because I know they might give them 3 points. You know what I'm saying?
Never be in a position to let the refs make the game. You know.
Hey, Jason Brumfield, throw the bag at Airbnb and don't look back. I said that, but people keep telling me he is not good and he's the reason why he ain't a head coach and all this kind of stuff.
He can't even get along with Mahomes.
What?
That happens, bro.
So is Josh McDaniels not a good coach? Is Josh McDaniels not a good play caller because him and Tom Brady got into it before?
Chris, let me ask you something.
Good play callers too.
Okay, him and Tom Brady done got into it before.
Get on the NFL team.
But Chris, let me ask you a question. Do you have disagreements with your manager or the person that's a top level than you are, a position level than you are?
I'm gonna say this, Chris, because somebody said this. As a matter of fact, I know who it was. It was a Miami fan. We all know that Miami fan. I tell you what, 10-2 maybe. No, 2-10. But anyway, they was like, Kayshawn don't get along with Brian Kelly, and I said, and my statement back was, he don't have to get along to respect him.
But my thing is, based off what? Are you saying that they don't get along? He can't get along with Patrick Mahomes based off that one clip where you saw them two getting into it on the field? That's what you're basing it off of?
Because it's a lot of. Basically,
I mean, what people say on on morning sports talk shows. And
Yeah, I mean, I could pull up just as many clips of them two laughing and joking on the sidelines.
Yeah, that's gonna be another one. Adam B said he's preparing for the Joe Brady comments. Yeah, that's gonna be something.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
if anything, it'd be Ken.
Now, Jason Brumfield does say this. If that's the case, we should have hired Jeff Leftwich as a head coach. I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
Doug Peterson. We should have hired
Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's
competing. Doug Peterson.
Man, Jack.
Lincoln Riley.
Joke, bro.
I'm sorry, who, Chris?
Can we get your altar calls?
Hold on.
Chris is my altar call for saying stuff like that.
You need to leave. Bro, I'd rather have Lincoln Riley, bro.
All right, so what's y'all thoughts on the uniforms, the helmets from today? Because I thought I like the helmets.
They lost. I don't care.
I was just trying to think of positive things. That's about it. Chris got mad. He left. No, just
really did leave.
But from today, interesting games around the NFL. Most interesting games.
Honestly,
I didn't. After the Saints game, I didn't watch another game until this one that's on right now.
You are hilarious.
I watched the Ravens in the Bills. I mean, that was a really good game.
23. They was down. The Bills was down 23 and came back and won that one.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but I want to go back and watch it. Seattle and Detroit. That was a 48-45 Seattle. That was
balling. What's the quarterback? I can't even think.
Jared Goff.
Geno.
Geno
Smith. Yeah. Geno Smith. Yeah, Geno.
Balling, bro.
But Geno is balling. Geno.
Hey, and Russ ain't cooking neither, but I just leave that alone.
That is true. That is true.
He is.
Hey, see what happened with
that boy Russ convinced Denver to give him a contract extension before he took one snap, and I bet they regretting that right about now because he's been looking terrible.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he got to go both ways because I think he regretting coming to play for that coach.
Oh, he should have realized that coach, bro. The only reason they hired that coach is because they thought that Aaron Rodgers was gonna come because he was the OC the last year in Green Bay. That dude is terrible.
Jason Brumfield said, "Shout out to Jay Jets for the fantasy points." Jay Jets had a game, yeah,
because he been missing the last couple of weeks. So
he went off.
He's back today.
All right. I know, we figure to do altar calls. But last thing, we were gonna talk about it Thursday, but we kind of got shut down because of time. Brett Favre. It's come out that not only did Brett Favre take the welfare money, he also took money from his foundation and used that was earmarked for breast cancer and stuff like that, and decided to donate that to Southern Miss as well.
So he donated the money to Southern Miss instead of breast cancer.
Yeah. So he got state money. He took the money from your taxes. He took the money from your donations. But he didn't take the money from his pocket.
Yeah, I mean,
my question. Go ahead.
That happens every day, though. It's wrong. I'm not saying it's right, but that happens every day in America.
All right.
Yeah, does it happen every never mind, I'll be quiet. Go ahead.
All right. Should he be removed from the Hall of Fame? I don't think he can, but should he?
I don't know about that.
No.
I don't know about that.
Let me ask you. I mean, you say that, but Pete Rose is not in there. And I know it's a different Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's totally different, though. Bro.
Right.
That's totally different, bro.
Yeah.
Pete Rose bet on the game that he was involved with at the time.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with football.
Yeah, that's something different.
Yeah.
Hey, I get your point. Like he definitely should be if you want like excommunicated or you know what I mean, whatever you want. Yeah, whatever
football games.
Yeah, whatever you want to say. He shouldn't be around the NFL no more.
But Adam says he should be removed from society.
Agreed.
With them Levi pants, he should be removed.
Wrangler.
Wearing Wrangler jeans.
And his little copper fit bracelet or whatever the thing.
Speaking of that, so here's the crazy thing. I'm listening to
playing them commercials.
I'm still commercials. I'm listening to Sirius XM radio.
Mhm.
I'm listening to talk radio, and they're talking about Brett Favre, this scandal, things he's done, where he's stolen money, where the money's been pushed, and it should have gone here, and it was taken and it was put here, and this, and then they go to commercial, and the commercial is, "Hi, I'm Brett Favre, and I have a channel where I talk about," and it's like it's like that. What if that ain't privilege?
Bro, that's
I don't care. You listen. You can say white privilege. You can say classism, class privilege, or you can call it whatever you want.
Hey, you say that. You say that, Daniel. You say it's capitalism. But I remember Tiger Woods getting dropped from ads for having an affair.
Thank you.
I agree.
That's a private matter, a real private matter. He ain't still nothing for nobody.
That's fair.
But draws. Anyway, y'all ready for altar call? I guess.
Well, they do it.
All right, let's go ahead. Chris, I think Chris trying to get back in here, but let's go ahead.
I hope so.
All right, I'll go first this week. All right. So, fellas, we talked about it a little bit. Antonio Brown, you need to come to the front. Matter of fact, never mind, don't even come to the front. You stay where you at. Just put some pants on. This week, it came out Antonio Brown was in a public pool, and I don't know the context of it. I don't know what was going on. But all I know is TMZ got a picture of him kind of lifting his behind out the pool and exposing himself. It was blurred, but it's kind of disturbing. There was a video that went along with it too, and he was kind of chasing a young lady around. A young Caucasian lady picked her up, dumped her in the pool. Looks like she was enjoying it too, because I think she reached and grabbed, and they were splashing water on each other and doing different things. And then he lifted himself up and exposed himself to everybody, and they looked, they smiled, they joked or whatever. But it's kind of problematic, man. We laugh and joke about the CTE. We laugh and joke about the walking off the field and stuff. This erratic behavior is starting to become very dangerous. We saw how this kind of behavior and erratic behavior led to Kellen Winslow Jr. committing several, sexual assaults, and also landing him in prison. We see how, since CTE has led to some players, one in particular, I can't remember his name, but he was the linebacker for Kansas City who ended up taking the life of the mother of his child and then himself. We've seen Hernandez. We joke again. AB, please get help. Please get help. I don't want you to be another tragic story. So, hey, just get help. So
that dude from Kansas City named Jovan Belcher, by the way.
Belcher, yeah. I never forget that day. So,
hey, I'll go next.
All right. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, I'll let you know. So I want to call the Ohio State University football team to the altar, especially Ryan Day, their head coach. Ryan Day, I don't know if you guys remember, we can take a walk down memory lane, but Ryan Day in 2019 was a politician, pretty much, I don't know if you guys remember, but he was definitely trying to sell that his team was number one so that he didn't have to play a tough opponent in that year's playoff run. But I can tell you like this, Ryan Day is his team, of course, teams, they kind of mimic their head coach. And ever since that 2019 season, I looked at Ryan Day. If I could say the words, I would say it on here, but that's kind of like a coward, honestly. Why are you dodging? Why are you dodging people? But essentially, what I'm looking at and what I'm talking about is what happened yesterday. Now, Ohio State was beaten smacked out of Rutgers yesterday, and this is what happened. Pough, can you go ahead and play that video?
Oh, he's going to fake it and keep it, and why not? I mean, then a late hit. They're going to have to tack yardage on the end of this, and Crookshank is the one that hit him.
Guys, if you look, it's 49-10 in the fourth quarter. Why are you calling a fake punt? Honestly, that's the equivalent of somebody showboating in the baseball on a baseball mound. I don't even know how you say that. All right. But my thing is that punter, he deserved every last hit, and I loved it. And Ryan Day, you should be ashamed of yourself because that is the worst sportsmanship I have seen in a while. Shame on you, sir.
All right. I want Chris to go last because Chris.
You want him to go last?
I want him to go last because
He in the closet.
Can
Nah,
y'all
he-
see me?
we can't
No.
see you, but we can hear you. But that's cool. As long as we can hear you, we good. Because what you got to say.
Something wrong with my camera. I don't know what's going on.
Matter of
It's
fact,
all
yeah. Go. All right, Ant, you ready?
Fix your camera while I do mine, Chris.
I'm gonna have to go all the way back out.
All
All
right.
right.
All right. I'm finna call Hugh Jackson to the altar. Oh boy. First of all, since Hugh been in Grambling, it ain't been nothing but a dumpster fire. His decision to hire Art Browse, but not, do it the correct way, then keep John Simon after that situation. But it's gonna be his offense, and John's just gonna call the play, all this kind of stuff. It's just been crazy. Then you had the situation where they made headlines at Swag Media Days for their outfits. Not anything he said, not one of his hires he made or something schematically they're gonna do or the transfers he brought in, but outfits. Him looking like Willy Wonka. That's what they made headlines for. And now Hugh Jackson decided to take the G off of Grambling players' helmets, saying that they haven't earned the G. Hugh, what have you done to earn your G? That G has been on the side of their helmets for years through thick, thin, good, bad, win, loss, it don't matter. And you, who ain't even Grambling, don't even know nothing about Grambling, gonna bring your butt down here and try to change what Grambling does and change Grambling tradition. You take the G off your chest then, Hugh, because you ain't done nothing to earn it neither.
Ooh, was that it? Ooh, that hurt my.
Man, I hate, man. Whew.
Spicy.
Yeah.
I can't. Something wrong with this camera, y'all. So we're gonna have to do it without the camera.
All right, well, go ahead, Chris. I didn't get the video, Chris. But go ahead.
So I don't know if most people know, but in the fishing tournament world, well, this was specifically walleye fishing. It's up north. They do it big up north. We had two cheaters who have won a lot of, first place wins with, bigger fish. And they also won a lot of money, $300,000 worth of money in their career. So these two guys, I wish we had the video so I can see it. These two guys got to the weigh-in and they had lead weights. I'm talking about big catfish lead weights, they did like 5 pounds. I don't know if they that heavy, but they, enough to get you a win. They had them stuffed deep down inside the walleye, like 4 or 5 fish. They had them stuffed down in their stomachs. They also had fish fillet stuff down in their stomachs so that their fish can weigh more than the other competitors. Now, not only did those guys kill those fish, they cheated other people who probably really needed the money, who actually put in work to win that money to help their families out. They killed fish that would have been offsprings, that would have had offsprings for another fisherman, a youth fisherman. So if everybody knows genetics, I believe in genetics. If a big fish has a mess of fish or eggs, how many ever eggs they lay, it's potentially going to be, a trophy fish in that bunch. If the mom and dad's trophies, right? So not only did they mess fishing up for the youth in the future, they also messed it up for other potential fishermen to win a tournament one day by killing those fish just to cheat and be greedy and win money that they already got that they really don't need. So it ain't no telling how long they have been doing it and cheating folks out the money. I think they should go to jail. I think they're stiff. What's the difference between them and a scammer?
That's a good point. And then not
Chris came with it.
and not to mention that's cruelty to animals for shoving lead weights down a fish's throat and killing them.
Hey Peter, where you at? Y'all got on Michael Vick. Where you at, Peter?
Y'all mad at LSU
Where you
for having
at,
a tiger?
Peter?
Y'all mad at LSU for having a tiger?
All fish matter, Peter. Where you at, Peter?
That's not how you say this word. I'm sorry. I mean, you don't post that ain't the way you're supposed to kill a fish, bro.
Yeah, that's not humane. That's not humane.
Yeah, that's not
humane. Make a fish deep throw the weight.
Yeah,
that's
you don't
crazy.
stuff weights down a fish throat just so that you can win a tournament. The whole point of the tournament is to catch and release.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yep.
That's a shame, bro.
It's crazy.
Hey, Chris, I appreciate that. When I saw that, I immediately thought about you, and you did great justice. Like you said, because if I'm not mistaken, the way you win tournaments is the weight of the fish, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
if you got 4 of them with a pound of weights in each one of them, and you can win. That's how some people win tournaments by ounces.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Chris, what you think?
Talking that fish talk.
hey, what you think? What you think would have happened if that would have happened on Caney or Lake Darbone or Busted Burger somewhere?
If it would have happened at a Bassmaster Classic, it would have been a riot out there.
Chris, so let me ask you a question.
That boy would have been swimming with them fishes.
He'd been swimming with them people, bro.
Chris,
fish.
So you telling me you never made a fish deep throw any weights?
All right. On that note,
Oh my goodness.
Good night,
Paul.
Had like a normal practice,
bro. No,
Bruh.
Okay, how does that?
Never thought about
You don't find that suspicious?
I do.
You don't find that suspicious?
You don't ask.
You don't find that suspicious?
Questions the last 3 shows.
Yeah.
Very true.
That's very true. It's very true.
Chris, you got a point. So
hey, you starting to be the Hugh Jackson of the show. You only making headlines for bad news.
I hope Blake heard that.
Yeah, man.
All right, and like that, we at. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Twitter at Golden Boot. On Instagram at Golden Boot. On YouTube at The Golden Boot Pod. On Facebook at The Golden Boot Pod.
Golden Boot!